Still coming from the Senate chambers, these are some of other senators who actually gave some remarkable speech for late Senator Ifeanyi Ubah today as they give him a preliminary Senate farewell reception today. Well, it was an awesome time. Oshiomole speaked, TLG speaked, Senator Ireti, Senator of the Federal Capital Territory, also speak. Don't forget to subscribe, drop a comment.
President, I stand acknowledge that late Dr. Ifeanyi Ubah was a very close friend of mine. Even from where he started in Congo, all night, I used to leave Nnewi with him back to my village home in Ikwerre sometimes. And he was a very realistic man for Nnewi. He was committed to the people's problem.
Just a minute, may I, with humility, announce the entry and the presence of the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, distinguished Senator Kashim Shettima. Your Excellency the Vice President, you are welcome to your chambers once again. Thank you for coming. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Use your microphone voice.
Thank you, Mr. President. For me, date is what is waiting for everybody. I never go to anywhere to celebrate the date because I know people were born and people will die. Because date waits for all of us. It's just when it will happen. I think Ifeanyi Ubah's own, while I was with him in the United States, he left me and said he was running back to Nnewi. The next thing I had a call from David Uche. He was with one of my brothers called David. And he said he was with Born Free Joe. I tried to build a football academy in the Navy. And he was running to London the same night. I asked him, how can you be doing these things? You are just coming from US, you are in the Navy, you are running back to London, and this is the journey that he did not come back. I want to console the family, the wife, children. These are things that happen every day. But we must accept the will of God. It's not our will, it's his will. Because Ifeanyi Ubah was a very pleasant person in the 9th Senate, in the 10th Senate, and he was sitting here with us. Myself, Sani Musa, Osta, Abiru, and Omar. We used to joke a lot about life, and we never knew it would be like this. We planned of following him to Anambra State to make sure that he will be the governor of Anambra State. All of us sitting here on this road, this is what we used to discuss most days. But God says no, and we must accept the good will of God. I don't want to bore myself because I'm already packed up. Even last night, I tried to come for the funeral, for the service and song. I asked my wife to enter and went back because I couldn't bear it. My younger brother, far younger brother, that I'm burying him is an abomination, but we have to accept it because it's the will of God. I want to condole the family, condole the people of Nnewi, and our colleagues who are also his friends, that his soul will rest. Good night, Patrick, until we meet again.
My name is Senator Ireti Kingibe, distinguished SP, my grieving colleagues, my sister, his wife, and her grieving children. I'm not going to say too much. It is clear that the Senate, we are all grieving for our colleague. Ifeanyi was a very boisterous and dynamic man. 1 minute he's fighting with you, the next minute he's making up with you. and we're definitely going to miss his presence. There are times when he'll come and say to me in Igbo in the corridor, distinguished Imanine Nyensobu, and I'll say, how can you say that from the most troublesome senator in the Senate? It is said that the only place we achieve immortality is in the hearts and minds of other people. I would like his family to know that in this Senate, Ifeanyi has achieved immortality in our hearts. Thank you.
Mr. President, sir, through you, I want to join in extending my condolences to our brother, our friend, and my comrade. Let me specifically convey our shared pain of shared sense of loss to his family, his wife, and his very, very lovely children. When I saw the visuals of one of his visits to London, I saw that he was a very, very happy family man, surrounded by his lovely children, and I think even his wife. A couple of days before he departed, we had a meeting at subcommittee level. But my first encounter was when I was a steward in Edo State, which they call governor, and kerosene was extremely, extremely expensive, such that most rural people couldn't afford it. It is to his credit, then not as a senator seeking election or popular support, but out of conviction that he went into partnership to bring what we then call Kero 50, to sell kerosene at 15 naira a liter, when it was ordinarily much more than 200 naira a liter. I was, the governor said, then, and I had the privilege of going to flag off what was seen as a subsidized distribution of kerosene. What that reminds me is that he who remembers the poor and chooses to abandon more lucrative options of diverting petrol to sell them at a rate that pleases him, he chooses to take on the burden of selling kerosene at affordable price to rural people, not just in the southeast, but across the 36 states of the Federation. There is a time to be born, and there's a time to die. And so even as we mourn as believers, we must not question the timing. Otherwise, we will say, it was so heavy the last time we saw. Like Senator Moro said, vertically he had an advantage over me, horizontally he has advantage over me. But one thing we share was the capacity to speak the truth and to say it as we feel it, regardless of whose ox is God. Today is no more, but those laudable achievements are here, and I'm happy he fulfilled everything that a man of his age to accomplish before he departed. A lovely family, a happy wife, and all we can say at this point is to ask God Almighty that he being a human being, and all of us as human beings are sinners, may the good Lord forgive him whatever sin he committed, grant him rest in heaven, and grant the family the fortitude to bear what is obviously an irreplaceable loss. Thank you, Mr. President, for this opportunity.
Thank you. One of your shortest speeches so far.